Hey guys, this is Balu from Balu Prime and once again welcome you all back for an exciting tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how we can create this kind of car animations in Adobe After Effects using Element 3D plugin easily. So hope you guys will find this tutorial useful, but before going to that, if you end up liking this video, please click on that like button to share this content, and if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing my channel and support me. And by the way, if you like short 3D simulation videos, you can check out my second channel, link in the description. Okay, so now without any further ado, let's start today's video. So here we are in After Effects. Now let's start this by creating a new composition. So for that, simply click on this new composition. Here I will be using a resolution of 2560 which is a widescreen or 21:9 aspect ratio with a frame rate of 30 and duration of 12 seconds. And background color, let it be black and hit OK. So here we got our composition. So let me make it fit. Okay. So now let's create a solid layer for Element 3D. So go to this layer options, new, create a solid. So I will rename this as element and make it of comp size and hit OK. So now come to this effects and presets panel. If you're not finding this panel here, go to this window and enable this effects and presets and look for element. So element is a third party plugin. So select this element and drop it onto this element layer. So now simply click on the scene setup. So we got a new window open to work in Element 3D. So Element 3D supports only OBJ files or OBJ sequence. So make sure whichever models or 3D models you are using, it should be in object format. So here I will be importing a car model. So simply click on this import button and load the file. So select the model. Here you can see it is an object file. So select the file and open. And alignment, let it be from bottom. So bottom means our model comes on the top of this grid and hit OK. So here you can see we got our model, but it is way small. So now come to these transform options and click on this normalize size. Just click on this button. So we got our car model here. So for this kind of animations, we want these wheels to be separated from this mesh. So let's see whether these wheels are separated or not. So hold Control key and click on this tire object. So here this is tire object. So if I hide this out, you can see all the tires are getting affected. So let me show you once again. So this indicates these objects are not separated. So first we need to separate these wheels from this car. So for that I will be using Blender. Close this and cancel this one. So now open Blender. So here you can see I have loaded this model already. So this is the same model which I'm using in Element. So if I select this wheel and if I move this, you can see all the four wheels are getting affected. So first let me separate these wheels from one another. And by the way, if you are new to Blender, don't worry, I will try to explain this in a simple manner. Download Blender first. It is an open source. After downloading it, launch Blender and import the car model. So in order to import the car model, go to this file options, import, select this wavefront OBJ. Since we are using object files for Element 3D, we will be downloading car models or any other models in object files. So select this wavefront OBJ. After that, locate the file and import. So we'll get our model in this Blender. So basically it will be visible in this solid viewport, and if your model got materials, you can check them in this material viewport. So let's see how we can separate these wheels. So select the wheels here. So here you can see all the four wheels got selected. Now come to these options. This is set to object, change it to edit mode, or else you can press tab key for shortcut. So I will change this to edit mode here. In order to separate meshes or object, we need to be in edit mode. So once we are in edit mode, so make sure press A on the keyboard so that all these vertices are selected. Okay. After that, press P on the keyboard and select this by loose parts. So after selecting this by loose parts, we will get our tires separate and rim separate. So if I again change this to object mode here, now we can select this individual. So if I move this, you can see we got our tires separated. So in order to get this as separate object in Element 3D, we need to change the materials of the objects here. So for example, if I don't change the material of this rim in Element 3D, we will get these four rims as a single object. We'll get these four rims as a single object. So first of all, we need to change the material. So in order to change the material, I will show you how to do that. So select this tire. First, let me show you. So select this tire, come to this material properties. Okay, here these are the tires. So first we need to select these tires here, and here we got a number. So uncheck this number. So this indicates that 49 objects are using the same material that have been used for this object. So we need to uncheck this one. Okay, So now this is separate object, separate material. So now select the rim. Now rim is this portion, so select this metal gray smaller, and here we got this 51. So this is 51 objects are using the same material that are used for this rim, so we need to clear that one. Okay, so now this is separate. So now let me repeat the same for these other wheels. So select this wheel. So once we have selected these or made these objects separated, we can export this into obj once again. So we can press A on the keyboard to select all the objects, go to these file options, export, and export it into obj format. Since element 3d supports obj, we need to export it into obj. So select this obj and make sure we have enabled this material groups. Okay, and let me rename this as car with wheels and hit export obj. So now the model is exported into obj. So let me minimize this blender and let me import that into elementary. So click on the scene setup. So make sure you are saving the project file. So let me click on this import button, and this is the model which I have exported from blender. So select that one and open, alignment from the bottom and hit OK. So now click on this normalize size. So we got our car model here. So now let's see whether these objects are separated, these wheels are separated or not. So hold control key and click on this tire. Okay, so this is the tire material. So if I hide this out, you can see only this tire is getting hide out. So we got all the tires separate. Let me check this. So select this, hold control key, click on this tire, let me hide this out. Okay, so we got these tires separated now. So now we need to separate these tires from the car model itself. So for that we need to duplicate this car model 4 times. So let me duplicate it first. So right click, duplicate model. Here I have duplicated this car model 5 times. So now first let me rename this one. So this will be just car body. Okay, so double click on the name here to rename it. So let me rename this as tire 1. This will be tire 2. This will be tire 3. This will be tire 4. Okay, so once we have renamed this one, let me hide out these tires first. So let me hide this out. So come to this car body. So in this we want only the car body, we don't want this wheel and rims. So expand this one, hold control key, select this tire, hide this out. Now select the rim. Okay, so hold control key and select the rim, hide the rim also. So now repeat the same. So here we got the car body. So now let's hide this car body, enable this tire 1. Okay, so in this we want only these tire. So this is tire 1, tire 2, tire 3 and tire 4. Okay, so this is tire 1. So hold control key and select this tire, and let me rename this as tire 1 and select the rim first. So hold control key and select this rim, and let me rename this as rim 1. Okay, so except this rim 1 and tire 1, hide out everything. So hide this materials here or objects here except rim 1 and tire 1. So now you can see in this tire 1 we got only single tire. So in order to get these animations, we want this pivot point to be center of this wheel. So we need to adjust that manually. So for that, let me move to this right perspective or right view. And in order to edit this pivot point or move this pivot point, click on this button here. It will be turned to orange. So now we can move this pivot point, and let me place this at the center of this wheel. So manage to get it perfectly as precise as possible. Okay, so once side view is done, move on to this top view and change this pivot point from the top also. So let me bring it here. So this is center, and after that let me check this once again. So this is at the center. Now we can click on this to get exit from that. So now we got the pivot point at the center of this tire 1. So first we need to repeat the same with the other tires also. So I will hide this tire 1, enable this tire 2. Now this is the tire 2. Okay, so hold control key, select this tire. So let me rename this to tire 2, and let me select the rim also. So hold control key and select the rim, and let me rename this to rim 2. Okay, so accept this to hide out everything. So here I have done everything. So now let me bring back everything here. Okay, so now select this tire 1, right click, aux animation, set it to channel 1. Tire 2, right click, aux animation, set it to channel 2. Now select this tire 3, aux animation, set it to channel 3. Tire 4, set it to aux channel 4. Okay, so everything is in group 1. Once this is done, now let's apply some materials onto this body. So now let's apply some materials quickly here. So come to this car body and let me apply to this body here. So this is the body. So come to these presets, physical, and let me apply this paint red onto this here. So this is looking good, nice. So select this paint red, come to this material options here. So glossiness, I will increase this to 100%, and reflectivity, I will increase the intensity a bit, like 25. Okay, so 25 is looking good. So after that, let me apply some materials for the other things also. So hold control key and click on the object. So this is backlight, so I will apply this bright light here, and I will change the diffuse color to red. And also I think we have this light here. So if you want to change the look or feel of this car here, we can change the environment. So for that we can use any free HDRIs. So I have downloaded few HDRIs from Polyheaven. You can download those HDRIs. So let me show you how we can import environments into the scene. So in order to import environment, simply click on this environment. So by default we will get these environments here. So if I select any of the environment in the apply, you can see the look here changes. So the environment will be acting upon the car, and the reflections, everything will be much better if we use proper HDRIs. Okay, so here if you want to rotate the environment, hold shift key and use left mouse key to rotate it, or else let me enable this environment and let me show you. So here you can see we got the environment. So this is of low res. So if I hold the shift key and use left mouse key, you can see our environment is rotating. So now let me import a new environment map here. So click on this environment. Let me browse few environment maps which I have downloaded. So I think this will be cloudy, cliffside, and open. So here we got the environment. So let me reduce the gamma here a bit. Okay, so that we'll get the environment visible properly, and also let me make it bright. Okay, nice. So now you can see we got this complete different look. So first of all, let me reduce the glossiness here. So let me select this body. So this is the body, so I will reduce the glossiness here, or else let me reduce the intensity of this reflectivity. So I'll reduce this a bit. So I think 15. Okay, 15 is fine. And also let me rotate this environment accordingly, so that we can have the environment reflections. So you can see we got some reflections of the environment here. So I think this is okay, nice. So once this is done, I think I forgot to apply some materials here, so let me apply. It is applied, and here it is not looking good. So here this is looking weird, so we need to find the object. So I think this is the object. So this is the object, so I need to enable this draw back faces. Okay, so now this is okay. Okay, nice. So now let's create a ground plane. So go to this create this plane here, and press R on the keyboard and increase the scaling here like this. And let me apply some asphalt material onto this. So come to this preset. So here I will be using this urban shaders. So let me come to this physical shader and ground, and here we got this asphalt here. So simply drag and drop it onto the plane, and let me expand this in z axis. So simply move this here. So this is the road for our vehicle of car, and select the plane model. So this is the plane model here. So select it, come to this UV properties and the texture mapping, let it be UV. So here texture repeat, we need to increase the value of this here. So let me make it 25. So let me reduce the scaling in x-axis. Fine. And also let me duplicate this plane model. So right click, duplicate this plane model, select this below plane model and change the material. So I will change the material like to this one, cracked one, and press W and move this below and press R and increase this in sidewards. So I think okay, this much is fine. And select this UV and let me increase this UV repeat to 25, or else let me increase this to 50 and 1, no, 25, change this to 75. Okay, so now we got the road here. So now let me reduce the reflectivity. So select this crack material, scroll up, and I think we need to reduce this glossiness. So let me reduce the glossiness here a bit, and also let me increase the normal bump here. So I will increase this normal bump value. Okay, so if you want to have the reflections of the car on road, we can do that. So select this plane model which is having asphalt material. So select the plane model, come to this reflect mode, click on this reflect mode and mode change this to mirror surface. So here you can see we got reflections of the car model. So if you want to see clearly, select the material and let me reduce this glossiness here a bit so that you can see the car reflections. So now click on this OK button. So here you can see we got our car here. So in order to view this scene in 3D space, we need to create a camera layer. So for that, go to this layer options, new, create a camera. So preset, let it be 35 mm and hit OK. So now press C on the keyboard, or else you can select this unified camera tool and rotate the scene here. So we got our car here. So now this is looking good. So now let's animate this car first. So first of all, let me select this track Z camera tool and zoom it out here. We got this car model in this group 1. So come to this element group 1 and come to this particle replicator here, and we need to play with the value of this position Z. So if you are moving this position Z value, you can see the road is also moving. So first we need to separate this road from group 1. So again go to the scene setup. Now let me select, let me bring it down. Okay, so now let me select this both plane models here, hold shift key and drag them out of this group, and let me change this model to group 2 and let me change this plane model to group 3. So in group 2 we got this asphalt material, in group 3 we got this cracked material. Okay, so now hit OK. Nice. So now if I move this position Z, we can see our car will be moving. Nice. So now beyond the first frame, let me position the car here. Okay, and add a keyframe for this position Z axis and move to the last frame and let me bring the position of the car here like this. Fine. So now if I play this, we can see we got our car movement. So first of all, let me change this render to draft so that it is easy to play. Nice. Fine. So if we observe clearly, we got the car animation, but the wheels will not be rotating here. So let me show you that one first. So here you can see we got this, but our wheels are not rotating. So let me change to full render. So if you observe clearly, the wheels will not be rotating here. So we need to rotate the wheels now. So again, beyond the first frame, let me zoom it out again. So all the wheels are in group 1 and they are assigned to aux animations. So come to this group 1, aux channels. Okay, so all the 4 wheels are in channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. So expand channel 1, expand this rotation. So I think first let's check in which axis we need to rotate the wheel. So now if I rotate, so this is rotating in direction. Okay, so we need to rotate the wheels in negative value, negative x value. Okay, so car will be moving forward, so we need to rotate in negative value. So fine, so now beyond the first frame, let me make it 0 here. Okay, so add a keyframe for this. Let me show you. This is channel 1 rotation x, so add a keyframe. So now come to this channel 2 rotation and add a keyframe for this channel 2 rotation x, and again move to this channel 3 rotation channel x, and again come to this channel 4 rotation and channel x rotation. So we got these four wheels in aux channels 1 2 and 3 4. So I have added a keyframe for this x rotation since we got only needed this x rotation axis. Okay, so now move to the last frame and let me zoom this out a bit. So here we need to match the speed manually. So I will give this number, like come to this channel 1 rotation x, select this number. So I will add minus 100 turns, and also I will add for all the four tires like minus 100. So let me change this to minus 100 and let me change this to minus 100. Okay, so we are getting the wheels rotated, but I think this is not enough, so I will change this value to, so first of all let me get rid of the position keyframe here for z-axis. So let me uncheck this. So now if I play this, so after setting these values to minus 600, I think I got the enough speed here. So this much of rotation is enough for this scene. So now let's animate the whole car here. So now let me zoom out again. Now let me position the car. So beyond the first frame, let me change this to quarter, and it is in group 1, so the car is in group 1. So beyond the first frame, add a keyframe for position Z, and let me place the car here. Okay, now make sure keyframe is added. Now move to the last frame and change the value here. So I think this much is enough. So now if I play this, we will get the car moving animation along with the rotating wheels. Nice. So here you can see we got this car animation. Fine. So now come to this render settings, ambient occlusion, enable ambient occlusion here, and let me save the project first, and AO mode, change it to ray traced. So ray traced is enabled. So now let's see how we can add shadows in the scene. So in order to get shadows, we need to have a light source. So let's create a light. So go to this layer options, new, create light. So light type, let it be parallel, intensity 750 is okay, and make sure this cast shadows is enabled and hit OK. So here we got this light added, so still we got no shadows in the scene. So come to this element, select the element, scroll down to the render settings. So in render settings we will get the shadow options here. So we'll get the shadow options, expand this and enable the shadow options, and shadow mode, change it to ray traced. Okay, so now we can see we got some shadows here. So now we need to place the lighting as per our wish. So let me change this to top view and let me select this light. So here we got the light, so I will change the light position to something, or else let me change this here and let me place this in this way. So now let's move to this active camera and let's see how it looks. So here you can see we got shadows here, so we got shadows this side. So if I move it down, okay, so now this is looking good. Nice. So in this way we can add shadows in the scene. So now select this element layer. Okay, duplicate it by pressing Ctrl plus D, or else go to this edit options and duplicate it. Okay, so now select this above element layer, scroll down, come to this output properties, in show, change it to illumination. So while applying materials, we have applied illuminating material for the lights. Okay, so we'll get only those materials visible here. So select this element, come to this effects and presets and look for glow. So here I will be using glow. So I got this deep glow plugin, so I will apply this one onto this element layer. So we'll get some nice glow onto this backlight. You can use normal default glow here, but we need to manually adjust some settings. So use whichever you like, and after that change this to add. So now let's see how we can control camera. So in order to animate camera, I will be using a null object. So go to this layer options, new, create a null. So here we got this null object created. So make it as a 3D layer by clicking on this 3D icon here. If you're not finding these options, click on this toggle switches, make it as a 3D layer. So after that, parent or camera layer to this null object. Okay. So now we can control our camera using this null only. So if I change the resolution to quarter, so press P on the keyboard for position values, and if I move this Z axis value, you can see we are moving our camera with the null. Nice. So now come to the starting frame, and let me increase or change the value here so that I will move on to the car here. So at this distance, Z axis distance, we got the car. So add a keyframe here. Now move to the last frame, and let me reduce the value like minus 5000. Let's see whether I will get our car or not. So here I need to move to the value where I will get our car model visible here. So at this value you can see we got our car. So now if I play this, you can see our camera will be following the car. Nice. So if you want to add some camera rotation kind of things, we can do that. So for that, select the camera layer, be on the starting frame, expand this one and add a point of interest and position keyframe. So now we can select this unified camera tool and let's rotate this here, and let me place this here like this. Okay, and let me move 6 seconds forward in timeline. So now if I play this once again, you can see we got this nice camera rotation here. Fine. So finally select the below element layer, enable this motion blur. If you're not finding this motion blur, click on this toggle switches, enable motion blur. And if you want to increase the samples and shutter speed, scroll down to render settings. So in render settings, we will get this motion blur, expand this motion blur, and motion blur set it to on. Samples I will increase this to 32, and shutter angle I will change this to 800. So after adding this shutter angle, we can see we got this scene completely looking different. So it makes us to feel the car is moving at a fast pace here. Okay, so here I will add some 3D objects like buildings and trees in the scene to make it look better. So in this way we can create this car animations in After Effects using Element 3D plugin easily. So hope you guys have learned something new from this tutorial. If you have learned anything new, please like, share and subscribe my channel to support me. So we'll meet in the next video. Until then, signing off. Take care. Bye.